this is a code review from a technical assessment. So in this assessment, we will be using HTTP requests, APIs, and Async JavaScript to populate a movie drop-down list, or to generate a movie drop-down list. After going over the provided code and the prompts and organizing what's necessary to populate a drop-down list, I came up with these requirements. The first requirement is to send a GET request using fetch to access the API. We need to await the response from the API. We need to handle any errors should the API not respond, or anything really. We need to parse the information into a usable JSON object. We need to store the parsed data into a variable. We would then use that variable to populate the drop-down list. Getting a closer look, to populate this drop-down list, we're going to access the API, get some information, store the information, and populate the list, which we have mapped out in our requirements. So the resources for this are the MDN, which has a list of APIs, TMDB, which is the API I'm using, some helper functions which were provided in my dev notebook with the applicable sections. This is my code minus the first constant, which is just the TMDB key. I have an async function, get genres. There are three constants or three variables here: the API endpoint, or the request endpoint, the request parameters, and then I have URL to fetch, which has other, previously created variables. So I have a try block here and a catch block, but focusing on the try block. We have a constant variable response, which is awaiting the response from the API. Now, if this response is okay, we're going to store the response into a JSON variable, which we will then parse into a JSON object, and we will use this object to extract the genres array. Should the response not be okay, we have a catch block, which is going to catch the error and log it to a console. We have covered APIs, HTTP request, and asynchronous JavaScript.